how's it going? Welcome back and welcome to how to convert a combo amp into a head. So this is a Fender Bullet DSP 15 amp, and I've had a couple of these Fender 15s and they're pretty obnoxious. The distortion kind of you know, but not bad, I guess. Good little practice amps, but this is the DSP one, so it has some effects in it, which is kind of nice. But anyway, I had turned this system into a basically a 2x8 system. So you've got the main amp, which you basically leave alone, and you put an input jack on the back, and then you take another amp apart and, you know, gut it and, you know, put an input jack on it so that you can, you know, loop a cable across, and away you go, and you've got two 8-inch speakers running off one amp. And with the way the combo works, because they're both the exact same speaker, you actually gain from 15 watts to 27 watts. So here we're going to end up turning this into a head, so no more speaker, and we're going to make it look like a head instead of like a combo amp. And anyways, I've seen a couple of YouTube videos where guys have done this, and they just, you know, chop this, chop that, attach halves, and it's like, I want to do something a little bit better. So I want to actually make it look a little bit more professionally done, but at the same time, I also want to shrink the scale down a little bit more too at the same time. But I wanted to show you how to do this, because none of these guys are showing us how it's done. They explain it. But in case you want to do this, you're going to need a table saw, obviously, is one key thing you're going to need. And of course, you know, basic screwdriver to take your amp apart and gut it. You're going to need to also, you know, if you don't have it already, you're going to need a couple of input jacks, 1/4 inch, as well as a amp cord now to join the head to the speaker. And one guy actually hooked one of these suckers up to, I think it was a 4x10 or a 4x12 cab. And that was kind of interesting. But anywho, so we're still going to be able to reuse all the chrome cornered hardware. We'll put the amplifier back in. And we're still going to have that, what do they call that? Not tweed, but the mesh grill. Anyways, we're still going to have that material on a piece of wood. And we'll just continue on. So what do you say we get started and chop this sucker? Now, what I've done already is I've set my depth on my saw exactly where I want to make that slice. So this way it gets done perfectly even on both sides. I don't have to measure anything other than one measurement, that's just for the saw. You won't be pulling this off on a bandsaw, at least, well, you probably could if you got a deep enough throat on your bandsaw, but I would definitely recommend the table saw for this. Hold things together. Be very careful coming back from the saw. I was actually holding it back this way against the guide so that it wouldn't get shot out on me. So, there we have our new top section. Now we need a bottom section for this, and that's going to require figuring out how the heck we're going to get this apart or not. I have an idea. I have so much fun. Alright. So, Right like that. Boom. Not going to give me the measurement I want. So I don't want just ever so slight of a gap there. I don't want the blade running into the bottom. It still might yet, but if that's what happens, then that's what happens. So, we're going to cut it this way. So as I'm guiding this, I'm holding it back, right, by pushing against the bottom here. So I'm just pushing against the bottom here, holding this, and then letting it cut through. So that turned out actually really nice. We could have gone just a smidge hair more, but then we would have started cutting into this, which I didn't want to do. Okay, so we got that. So now, this is the original front, because that's the Grille board that goes in there for your speaker. So now, we've got the starting of our head for here. So now what we want to do is put this up like so. Make sure that's nice and even, which it is. And we got some nice fresh wood there. So I got to grab the glue, which I forgot to bring out with. Oh no, I do have it in here. Yes, I do. I thought I took it in the house. So, I take some glue here. Just run a little stripe there, a little bit there, a little here, and a little stripe down there. Don't have to put a whole ton of it. And this stuff dries in 10 minutes, which is freaking awesome. Okay. So, front to front. Alright, now I need my big weight. Yeah! Nothing like 35 pounds of steel on there. So we're going to let this cure up enough that it goes solid for us. And we're going to have to do some relocation, of course, for the corners, for where they were on the bottom. And the tops, of course, the tops will go back in where they belong. But we got a little bit of a split in our material. We'll just put a little bit of marker there. You'll never see it. I think actually that, yes, the corner piece will actually hide that. So anyways, we're going to let that dry. And while that's happening, I'm going to dig out some screws because I want to put at least one screw on each end, countersink it in so that it holds it even more secure. So hey, don't go away. We'll be right back because we still got to cut the back cover yet. Alright guys, so I got a couple of screws together. I found two of them at least. But anyways, my wife just finished taking that stuff off of this plate, which we're going to try and reuse this. But anyways, so I've got another drywall screw here. These are about, I guess, 1.5 inches or so. Anyway, we need at least 1.5 inches screw. So we're going to spin this around and I'm going to show you how I did this. So you need a small drill bit as a piloting drill bit. And you also need a drill bit that has a head that is just slightly bigger than the top of your screw, so you can countersink it and it disappears, so that it looks really pro. So the drill bit that I'm using is a 7/64. And what I'm doing is I want to try and get it as in the center as possible. Now get rid of this behemoth. Okay. So right about here. The idea behind pre-drilling your hole is so that it doesn't split. Because even this particle board crap can split. Then you want to take your munchy drill. And this one here is 21/64. Find that little spot where you just drilled your little pilot hole. Now you'll see that it pushed some of the material up. This is a good thing, because we want that underneath the screw anyhow. Because remember, we're going for the pro look. We want it to look good. Now we're going to jam this screw down. Voila! Screws are countersunk. Let me give you a nice little view of that. So you can see the screws are countersunk in. So, now we've got our main box done. Woohoo! This doesn't take long, does it? Anyways, a couple of minutes. Now, because I've already got this plate mounted in this one from my last mod job, what I want to do is figure out how wide I need to make this. I want it to go in fairly snug. So I need a mark right in about in there. And I had a pencil around here someplace. I just got to remember where. Where's my pencil? My pencil has just... Oh, there's my pencil. Okay. So basically, get this lined up as square on as you can. Yep, we got a good mark there. Alright. Something like this. Alright, so the next thing we gotta do is gotta square that up. So you will need a square, especially if you want a really good straight line. Alright, now we got that done. I'm going to have to pull that plate off there for a minute. Sorry I'm getting in your way, I just got to find a bit for this. That'll work. This is not going to stay in, but this junk over here, get it out of our way. Alright. Good. All right. Now let's find out how good we are. Alright, absolute perfect fit. But we got a little bit of a wobble problem here. So what we need is we need a block inside here so we can put a screw in here and in here. We're going to need some block material. Which, you know what, guys? We already have that. Right here. That's where we're going to get our block material from. Reuse as much of the parts of the old amp as you can. Okay. Right about there should be good. Shave. Oh, had a couple nails there we cut through. Okay, so what we can do with this is we're going to chop it where we need it. That's junk. About there. Oops. All right. By the way, be extremely freaking careful and awake when you are monkeying around with power tools. Okay? Don't be stupid. That's how accidents happen. Or in my case, I don't believe in accidents. It's called that's how stupid stuff happens. Okay? So, now we got that there. This one goes in here. Bazinga. Perfect. So, what we're going to do is we're going to move that close. Actually, we'll go this way and get the whole width. Yep, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that to get the width. Okay. So for this next part, I'm going to go off camera because I'm going to glue those in and clamp them. And then we'll continue on. Don't go away. Okay guys, now on to the next most interesting part of this. So we've got the front end, which actually held the speaker at one time, and it is now going to be just a empty vessel, so to speak. It's going to have the Grille cloth on it, and we also need to put the Fender logo back in, okay, which was actually up in here. So we need to make sure we compensate for distances because we want to wedge this back in. And of course we're going to have to drive a new screw through the side. Well, maybe not. But, so this is about almost 1/4 of an inch in. So what we need to do, grab our pen. Would be flush, so this would be about 1/4 of an inch right there. Yeah, I give that about 1/4 of an inch there. Okay, so let's take our square. If you screw this up, you're going to be buying a new chunk of wood. Thing is, you only need to measure this once and cut it, providing you're using a table saw. I go for cutting right in the middle of the line. Cool. Almost looks like it's, well, yeah. Almost looks like a smiley face, but not quite. Alright, so let's see if we guessed right. Okay, so we're off by, looks like about 1/4 of an inch. That's okay. This is why we have little trim room. So I'm going to start with I'd say that's damn close. I'm going to give it about there. Plus or minus, survey says. Survey says we need about an 1/8. I like going for the whole precision thing. Glasses are safety glasses too when you're doing this junk, eh? It kind of saves your eyeballs, you know. That's good. That's a good fit. Except we got to go shorter because we still have the amp to go in. So we've got a pretty good idea on this. Alright, I gotta put the amp back in this thing and take a new measurement. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. How much of this do I really need to cut out? If I'm right. I'm gonna say right there. That's all we need to cut back. Okay, I'm going to go put the amp back in this in a few minutes. So I'm going to let the glue dry. We'll be back. I forgot all about that. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. We got to put the amplifier in here. So, yes, I was not out by an 1/8. I'm out by a lot more. Hey, what's wrong with bloopers, guys? It happens. We do things as we go. I've never done this before. This is a first. And I figured, hey, you know, I know how to do this. It's just I didn't account for this part, you know, and I was kind of like, wait a second, the amp still has to go in. Okay, so we shall go do that and we shall be back. Okay guys, so let this be a lesson to all of us. Remember to put your amplifier back in before you make your final measurements and cuts, because otherwise you could end up not being able to install your amp. Okay, so now we've got the amp in. Got our board measured here. We've got to go almost 1/4 of an inch in. So let's start here. Let's see what that gives us. So we need our square. This junk out of the way. Let's see how close we are. Oh, hey, that's pretty good. And that'll make up for the mesh being able to go in and fit perfect. Okay, so I'm going to stop the film here for a minute. You guys, it'll be instant. And I'm going to ask my awesome wife to get that mesh stuff and see if we can also get that fender logo thing put back on here too. And we'll install that part next. Okay guys, so I got my wife out here and I did the initial stapling, and where the original screws went for the logo, lined right up perfect. Anyway, so she's going to do the final cut and we're going to show you how to finish this off. So you got to go down, let me get you a tape measure and I'll tell you how far you need to go. You're looking at about 1.5 inches to 1 5/8 is good. And you're going to cut straight across, keep it straight, right to the other end. Then we'll show you how to fold that over. Now when you're using a staple gun, because you're going into particle board, the staple will not go in all the way with the T50 gun. Okay? So you're going to have to take a hammer and just gently tap right in the middle of the staple and push it down. And if it does bend a little bit, it's okay, because that staple goes about 3/4 of the way down. Now I'm using 9/16 length staples. Okay, so they already go about 3/4 of the way down. And then you can just hammer the top, and if it bends over, it bends over. It's going to stay. Okay, so the next thing we got to do here is we've got to get this to fold over. So it's not going to fold that friendly like this. Okay, so we want to make a cut right along the edge, fairly flush. Right like that. Like so. That there. Okay, so see the way that's cut now? Now that's going to allow us to fold this over so that we can staple like so. One there. Before you hammer these, make sure that it seems like it's going to sit pretty flat there. Looks like it will. Oh, I went right off the bloody side. Pliers. Like so. And one more right here. That. Now we didn't put a piece of wood down in here, but it's not going to matter. At least it shouldn't matter. That's the Kevy theory. We'll see how right Kevy is on this one. Like I told you guys, it's the first time I've done something like to this extreme. But the idea is like, hey, you look at a video and you see what it looks like. That looks kind of cool. Alright, so let's get our fender logo out. Wow, that's metal. Holy jeez. It's heavy. Well, we're going to have to adjust this. Yeah, we're going to have to adjust. I think we can adjust for this. Before I finish doing this, you know what, guys? Before we put our little fender sign back on, we're going to install this into the amp to see where our lineup is, because it looks like it is actually going to, it may be on as far as the material and that goes, but it doesn't seem to be all that on for the rest of it. So let me zoom out here a bit. Wow, that turned out to be a nice snug fit. That's a really good fit. Awesome. Wow, you don't get much more precise than that. Holy jeez. I called that one right. Okay, so now we got this in here. We still got screw placements here, and I've got screws for that in the house, but let's see about getting our crap. Oh! No, that ain't it. We just lost a screw, folks. We need to find the screw. We'll be right back. Okay, guys, we found our stuff. And so you're going to have to place your fender sign if you want it back on manually. And because remember, you got that little bit of a speaker thing left here. So I'm going to pull this down just a little bit in case I have to take the amp out of here again at some point. And I think I'm going to go with right here. Oop. Okay, do not push in on the amp too hard. Alright, let's get this straightened back out. There we go. Oh, and don't over tighten these screws. You're going into wood and it will strip. Okay, so that's what our new head looks like. Aside from the fact I still got to put the corners on and the back plate. Now, with the back plate, you got a power cord coming through here, and the original back plate had a notch. Okay, so we need to duplicate that notched area. So take the piece you cut, line it up, and you're going to slice in the notch. You're going to cut that out. You can, well, yeah, I wouldn't suggest drilling it out. I would cut it out. You know, take like a little coping saw, or if you've got a scroll saw, works really good. Actually, I have a scroll saw, but it's not set up, so I'm not going to be doing it with the scroll saw. But I'm probably going to, what I'm going to probably do is just I'm going to Dremel that out. So I'll get that done off camera, because that's going to take a while. And we'll finish reassembling this little beaster and hook her up and fire it up for you on a different video. And putting your corner pieces on, no big deal. You will have the original screw holes here are likely going to line up because the top is in the same place. So the screws that held the grill in to begin with, you can reuse those with the washers. and the holes should line up just perfectly there, because we did not modify the top at all, so that will stay the same, and that holds that in place perfectly. But yeah, I'd say that looks pretty freaking cool. So, and I got to mount my plate with my jack back on and wire my jack up. Now that I don't have the other thing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to unsolder the wires from the jack, and I'm going to use the wires from this unit and just pop them on instead. And then it's direct on and less resistance, and you know, that's even better. And you still have some cloth left over, so if you want to do this again, you can. On a different amp and have silver too, or whatever, or spray paint the thing, I don't care.
It's pro looking.
That looks pretty freaking pro.
That's awesome.
You know, like I said, guys, I've seen videos with the guys, they just slice it here, slice it there, and then they shrink it down, join the halves, and it's like, this is so much nicer, and you're using the original bottom, you're still using the part of the plating, and everything screws back together, you know, pretty much the way it came apart. So, yeah, I really like how this one turned out, that's for darn sure, and it should be fun. It doesn't do a damn thing for the sound, but it's going to look pretty kick, because if you guys remember the way I had this stack system as a 2x8, that other thing there, the other cabinet, which used to be an amp, it was actually a Fender Bullet. It's now going to be the cabinet for this. So anyways, that's it for this video. You'll see this fully assembled and up and running again on another video. So that's how it's done. And like I said, you know, to line this up, you know, for your plate, because you want your power cord to go through there. And voila. Now, if you have, this is the tricky part, if you have one of these Fender amps that doesn't have the power cord coming out here, it's got like one of those computer power cords, you're going to have to get a little creative on that one, okay? Because you're going to have to make sure that everything still jives. But otherwise, it's just the back cover difference that you got to do. See you later. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the next one.